Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Marc Goldberg from Marc Vlogs Watches, and I would like to welcome you to my live stream. Now, as people begin to discover that I'm surprised live streaming, or as I like to call it, a live stream, members or subscribers to this channel may start joining in, or perhaps not. It is Friday. Tony, you are first. Beal, hello. John, thanks for having me. Now, the first question I have for you boys and girls, Turkey Vulture, is can you hear me? Because I'm using the Dead Hamster lavalier microphone, and I usually wing it and use the phone microphone on the camera. So tell me, oh, you can hear me. Perfect. This is what we need to know. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. So the first thing that we need to do before we get started talking about the fact that I did a thing, Blue Shirt, Gilberto, Mohammed, Marcel, all of you, thank you for joining me. So my big question for you is, before we get started on the topic of this video, the meat and potatoes of this video, as I like to say, glasses cool or glasses make me look like a fool? Because it is very sunny here and I really wouldn't mind wearing them. Glasses cool? All right, I got one vote for cool. Turkey says cool. Cool or fool? Now I will tell you, these are Tommy Johns, you know, what are they? Maui Jims. These are Maui Jims. Keep them on. I'm getting some cool. All right, I've got votes for cool, which is great. These are Maui Jims, which I got for $20 on eBay from some eBay seller who has like crap loads of them. The guy's an optometrist, so, you know, have a look. Guys, I'm afraid you might be a little angry at me. Tony says they're fake. They're not fake. I will tell you, Tony, they are not fake Maui Jims. These are actual Maui Jim frames, but they are vintage Maui Jim frames, and the lenses have been replaced, hand ground by the optometrist, who I think brought like a truckload of these old frames with like no lenses. So he hand ground UV lenses. So the lenses are not actually Maui Jims, because as you know, Maui Jims are crazy expensive, but the frames are. So, and that's what counts. So I'm a little worried that you guys might be afraid, or you might be angry at me, because I'm sort of, no, I didn't sell the James Cameron. Never Enough Watches says if you sold your James Cameron, just shut down the channel. I did not. But I bought a thing. I didn't sell a thing, although I am going to sell a thing. Okay, so there's two things that we could talk about briefly in this live stream. The first one is I bought a thing. And the second thing is, I'm a sell a thing. Blue Shirt says, why would we be angry? Well, Blue Shirt, you know, you and I share a certain relationship, a certain bond of trust, in which you endow me with the certain amount of trust not to ram watches down your throat that you don't like. Beal asks if I bought a Patek Philippe Pilot watch, and let me just say, I wish. I wish. That is a magnificent watch. But, Martin says buying another Rolex is a good thing. A Daytona again, asks Marcel. And here's the thing, guys. It's not a Rolex. It's not a Rolex. In fact, it might be the anti-Rolex. It's not Lolex. It's not Rolex. Marcel, is it a Seiko? Nope. Blue Shirt says we would be angry only if you bought a Squale. Squale. Did you guys see the live stream with Tim Masso shaking hands with TGV, and Tim is sitting back in the chair, you know, looking like very grim, and TGV's like got his tongue out. Like, it looked like a Grindr first date gone wrong for at least one party. You know? I thought it was hysterical. Anyway, okay, I did a thing. Okay, guys, well, I announced the thing on the Archie Luxury, the second live stream he did too. So should we just get this over with? Should I just show you? Let me not tease you anymore. Here it is. Here's my thing. Here's the thing that I'm showing. You guys make that out? It is not a Tudor. I do own a couple of Tudors. It is a Grand Seiko. Now, in my defense. And do I need to defend myself for buying a Grand Seiko? You know, that becomes the question. Now, Esteemed Watches says, no. Yes, it is a spring drive diver. Okay, so am I going to keep it? I don't know. Is it a little outside my comfort zone? Yeah, it really is. It's outside my comfort zone for a couple of reasons. This is a divisive brand of watch, and this is a divisive movement in this particular watch, and it is also owned, spruiked, and flogged by some divisive YouTubers. Y'all know what I mean. Yay, team. Rah, rah, zis, boom, bah. So, it's a kind of a divisive watch, if you will. And, but I decided to just forget about all the division, forget about the who says what, who owns what. Tim Masso gives it a good review. On the one hand, on the other hand, you know, he sells them. You know, I think Tim Masso, by the way, just as an aside, is one of the most articulate, one of the most knowledgeable, one of the most respectable watch YouTubers that you're going to find anywhere. He's just amazing. And he looked very uncomfortable. I'm projecting, but the body language was like, guys, that was so awkward. He looked so awkward sitting there with TGV. So, why Grand Seiko? Why now? I really love my Rolexes, and I think that for me, I know that Rolex, like here's the pyramid of horology, and Rolex is like right about here. It's not up here with Patek and FP Journe and, you know, those crazy brands that are like super horologically significant. Rolex is here, you know, there's a lot down here. Grand Seiko, a lot of the people who flog this watch will tell you it's as good as a Rolex. It's better than a Rolex. I beg to differ. It is not better than a Rolex. Might not even be as good as a Rolex, but it is different. It is interesting. And so far I'm enjoying the owner experience, and actually I'm enjoying it more than I would have thought. So let me catch up on a little bit of channel business. I will be leaving tomorrow for a week. I will be working at the monastery up in Newskeet, which is upstate New York. I will be training dogs with my friends, cohorts, partners in crime, and co-authors, the Monks of Newskeet. That's where I will be. But I have uploaded 4 videos that I will be releasing over the next X number of days. Sorry, I'm just trying to, still on the Hulk hunt, Turkey Vulture says. Yes, I'll talk more about that in a little bit if I get a chance, but yes. So I'm going to be away for about a week, working my butt off, and I'm definitely taking this watch with me because I've pledged to wear the crap out of it for like a week so that I can do a week on the wrist review, but I already have an unboxing video. I have 24 hours on the wrist. Let me tell you what I can so far and give you a preview of some of the information that I will be uploading in the videos regarding Grand Seiko that I've already done. First, this is a monster watch. It is every bit as big in terms of its width as the James Cameron. It is 44 millimeters, although it's not as thick, fortunately. The James Cameron is 17 point something thick, and this is 14.3. So it's chubby, and also it's heavy, 200 grams. However, I don't know if you can see this. Hold it there. These lugs turn down. So these lugs wrap the wrist. And there are some visual things about this watch that make me go, not so sure. And watch my videos over the course of the next week about the Grand Seiko, and you'll learn more about my thoughts related to the visual cues. Let me just say it's a very, very large and somewhat empty dial, but it doesn't look that way on video. But to the naked eye, that's a lot of glass and a lot of empty black space. Anyway, as I was unboxing it, I was looking at it going, yeah, I'm not sure. I was really unimpressed with the box. Rolex does a very nice box, as they should for the amount of money. And this is not a cheap watch by any stretch of the imagination. MSRP is $6,000, although you can find them with some discounts new, and they're actually pretty hard to find used, I think. but super chat booster, thank you, sir. Mark went full Craig ship. Next is a Segway. I wouldn't trust myself on a Segway, and I've only gone partial Craig ship. I've just gone the watch, but I have substantial disagreements with that guy relating to the finish quality of this thing. So at the end of the day, I like it. You know, I'm pretty sure I like it. I need to wear it more to find out if I'm going to pump and dump or if I'm going to keep. I'm not sure, but it is a fairly compelling watch for the following reason. It has flaws. It has a lot more flaws, I feel, than does the Rolex Submariner or the Rolex Sea Dweller 43 millimeter. Bunch more flaws, and even more than the James Cameron, which is a much thicker watch. So even though it has lots of flaws, there is something compelling and endearing about it, because it has some things on the plus or minus scale. If this is the scale, here's the minus, here's the plus. My scales are right now like this, like it's a little higher to the plus side than to the minus side. So one of the things that I'm really, really enjoying about it is, guys, I like a big ass watch, but you know, the really big Rolexes are kind of hard to wear. I showed you, let me show you again so we can just get to it and discuss it. Look how these lugs turn down. Okay, so this Grand Seiko, it kind of wraps around the wrist, and therefore it lays really well, and it distributes its weight. And it's got a very big, thick clasp here, which I think is a negative. Just the design of it is really cool, but the thickness of it is kind of stupid. However, it counterbalances the watch. So the end result is a watch that lays on the wrists very comfortably. I mean, for the monster size that it is, it just feels good. And I gotta say, the James Cameron feels awful. It's a very hard daily wear. In fact, I took it off the stainless steel and put it on rubber to distribute the weight a little better and reduce weight, and that has helped it. But it's still really tall. The 43 millimeter Sea Dweller is easier to wear than the James Cameron. I dearly love that watch, but you know, as you know, the lug profile on a Rolex is completely straight, and so it might rock a little bit on the wrist. Now I have glorious flat 7¼ inch. Guys, don't be touching yourself right now, but look at these wrists. So I can carry off a big watch better than somebody with even a larger wrist than me, but which is round, because, you know, the profile of the Rolex might tip a little. I want to just say this watch is a little bit heavier than the 43 millimeter Sea Dweller, but it's more comfortable. Also, that the spring drive movement is kind of interesting. It's neither fish nor fowl. It's not a quartz movement per se, and it's not an automatic movement quite either. It has a quartz crystal in it, but it has no battery. It is not solar. It has a mainspring, just exactly like your Rolex or any other automatic watch. It has a mainspring and a rotor. So the rotor swings around. It winds the mainspring. The mainspring releases its energy through a series of wheels and gears, which is exactly like an automatic watch. But there are a couple of key differences. There's a quartz crystal that is vibrating, and those vibrations can be timed. It is timed by the spring releasing energy, creating the vibrations. Now, I'm not an electrical engineer, so I know I'm going to massacre this, but I'll come close. The wheels are turning, but they're not regulated. Now, there's an escapement in a traditional watch where if you listen to the tick, 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 what you're hearing is the escapement going ding, 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 ding. And they put a ruby here and a ruby there because those are harder than metal. And they're just hitting ding, 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 ding. And those are hitting 28,800 times per hour on a 4 megahertz watch, right? This doesn't have that escapement, which causes the second hand to go tick, 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 tick. Like on a Rolex, a 28.8, 4 megahertz, 4 hertz watch, if you take some super slow-mo of the second hand, you will see it has 8 little tiny movements between each second. So it's going ding, 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 8 times per second. It's really fascinating. Sometime put your Rolex or your any automatic watch, just film it using super slow-mo, and you'll see what I'm talking about there. This just has a smooth glide sweep the way it would on an electric clock hanging on the wall. And that's because rather than the escapement slowing down the balance wheel to create the exact right time and sweep of the second hand, it's using a couple of electromagnets. Those are being powered by a little bit of it must have a capacitor, something that is generating electricity and then using it for the quartz crystal is measuring the timing, and those electromagnets are slowing down the wheels. They're like brakes. One lets it go a little faster, one lets it go, it's a little slower. Anyway, ridiculous accuracy. I mean, I think mine is running plus a quarter second per day, which is beautiful. Like I said, it's neither fish nor fowl. I don't know fully how I feel about it. It's a hybrid movement. It's like hydroelectric. Yeah. Okay, so enough about that. That's what I did. That's the thing I did. Now that's the thing I bought. I'm sorry, guys, in the room. I know there's a lot of comments flying around, but I kind of got into a blah, blah, blah talking jag. Plus, it's really hard to read them. Is he going to read the super chat? Oh, I missed one. All right. Hold on, guys. I'll go back. Pardon my finger there. $2 from Booster Mark. Are you a fan of male cheerleaders? No, I'm not going to read the super chat. But thank you for the $2, Booster. I sure appreciate that. Okay, so I think I need to remove these. The problem is I'm in a lot of direct sun, but I can't read this. I can't read the chat room stuff. Does it feel luxury and exclusive? Asks Hung Farlow, and that's a wonderful question. And you'll hear me talk a lot about that in the unboxing and in videos that are to come. And I think I worried about that a whole lot when I first unboxed it, because the box itself is kind of crappy. Like, it's not awful, but it's not like you would expect to see on a $6,000 MSRP watch. So right away I was put off by the box. The second thing I was put off by is the turning action of the bezel. Now the bezel is precise. Let's take a better look at it here. The bezel is precise. It lines up. But it is no Rolex, this bezel. Let me tell you what, it is no Rolex. In fact, the turning feel of it is a whole lot more like a Seiko Turtle. It scales more to that feel than it does towards a Rolex feel. I don't know if you've ever turned the bezel on a Breitling. It's not as good as a Rolex. It's pretty damn good. Omega, pretty damn good. Just not as good as a Rolex, at least on the real new Omegas. Seiko, a lot worse than Rolex, and this is kind of like that, except for at least it lines up. How is it compared to the Pelagos? I'll get there. Let you hear it. Can you hear that? It's kind of just creamy. It feels mushy. Honestly, it just doesn't get my gun off, all right? So it had, this vinyl Naugahyde box, and then this turning bezel that just feels, a little bit mushy. It's like you're getting into a bed, at a hotel, and it just feels like too soft, maybe a little bit like that. So those things put me off at first, but when I started wearing the watch, when I started using its version of the glide lock clasp, which is flawed, it is not perfect, but it has some amazing advantages. Like, you can adjust it on the wrist, you can dial it in. It has a lot of little adjustments. I've just, closed it up and made it smaller. That is a long way around the bend for me saying, luxury feel? Yeah, it has it. I'm aware of its flaws, but overall, it feels like quality. It feels like luxury. I talk a lot in my, in one of the videos about Zaratsu polishing. I gotta say, that's a little bit of a marketing ploy. Zaratsu polishing is just a craftsman sitting on a buffing wheel, hand polishing. But there is a lot of architecture. There are a lot of angles. There's a lot going on this watch, guys. So there's a lot more handwork involved in making one of these, whereas Rolex is manufactured mostly by, robotic machines. This guy here is hand assembled by a watchmaker. So it's a little bit more of a watchmaker's watch, which is ironic because it doesn't have a fully automatic movement. So I rank it under most Rolex. I rank it under any Rolex dive watch. But I'm pretty damn sure I like it more than my Omega SMP 300, which is a fine watch. Boy, can you really make the case for the Omega SMP. It just doesn't suit me, so I'm going to sell it. If you want to buy it, you can get a hold of me, marcgoldberg8@gmail.com. My email address is in a lot of my videos. I'm going to sell it. I think really the only thing about that Omega that bugs me, hardcore, well, let me tell you what I love. The display back is amazing. The ceramic bezel looks great. The turning action, not as good as a Rolex, but very, very precise, super precise. More, I feel like a little more precise than the Grand Seiko. The dial, gorgeous. Those laser cut waves, you got to see them in person, guys. Wow, impressive. The movement, terrific. Fully automatic movement. Mine runs like, I don't know, a half a second fast a day. Gorgeous movement. The thing that kind of kills it, and good loom, really good loom, but the thing that kills the Omega for me at the end of the day, the fatal flaw, the one thing that I just can't overlook with my little OCD, is the skeleton hands. I feel those don't suit me. I am reading here. The skeleton hands don't suit me, and that would be because at night I find them much harder to read than a solid sword hands or hands that are like fully loomed. The skeleton hands on the Omega are gorgeous during the day. And maybe somebody with really great eyes could read it at night because it is loomed and it has good loom. But skeleton hands mean there's little strips of loom, and yeah, okay, I'm gonna sell it. Will I keep this? The love affair is very young, and you know what it's like when you get a new watch. It begins a mad, passionate, quick love affair. And but is it infatuation? Will I all of a sudden realize that she smacks her lips too much, steals the covers, and clips her toenails in bed? Will I all of a sudden focus only on her flaws? I did that quickly with the Omega. Will that happen with the Grand Seiko? I don't know. But I'm leaving for 7-8 days up at the monastery, and I think what I'm going to do is bring this as my one and only watch, so I'm just literally forced to wear the crap out of it. And at the end of that week, I'll probably know if I'm sick of it or if it's a keeper. If I had to make a prediction right now, I would say because it's a big, handsome, chunky, well-loomed, easy to read, fully adjustable dive watch with an interesting movement, I would say I'm going to keep it. But I am an unpredictable guy, and I have commitment issues, as we know. So, okay, I'm going to have a quick look. You asked me if I would, how I would compare it to the Pelagos, and I would say, geez, that's really super tough. The Pelagos is lighter, it's titanium. I think if I were to have to break it down and I had to say which one is better, it's like trying to pick which one of your Siamese twins is your favorite. It's going to be a little hard. I think I could probably make the case that the Pelagos is the better buy because it's less expensive than this watch. Fully automatic movement, titanium, sister company to Rolex, superior bezel action. The bezel on the Tudor is like, it's like crack, 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 crack. Like turning it is like crack, but there's this definitive metallic, gorgeous sound, and that bezel is loomed. This one is not. So, and you could probably get the Pelagos right now for, I don't know, maybe $1,500 to $2,000 less than this. So the Pelagos is probably the better buy. But if you can have both, if you can have vanilla and chocolate, why not? And so I feel like that's kind of where I am with this. Well, guys, I have a couple of dogs that are going home shortly. The client will be coming for the lesson. These people are madly, madly in love with their dogs, so they will not be late. I do dog consultations even by phone, so if you've got some kind of like weirdo dog problem, it's $149 to do a very, very extensive dog consultation over the phone. You can get a hold of me if you want. I would like to thank each and every one of you who are in this room for chit-chatting with me, for spending some time with me. If you are watching this after it is posted up, thanks so much. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do that. I'm a peace out as soon as I find the little button. You don't like the t-shirt, you love the t-shirt. It's a new ski. This is a monastery t-shirt. Okay, guys. There's not a single bird that flies behind me. I don't know. I can't help you with the birds, but I can hear them. All right, I'm looking for the button. It's just so dark. Bye, guys.